Assalamu alaikum students. So today again we are going to discuss another test that is being applied for the quality control of parenterals. So these are the contents of today's lecture. So we are going to discuss about pyrogen test, its little bit introduction and the different methods that are applied for checking the pyrogen in the parenteral preparations and their components. So these are the objectives of today's topic. The actual topic are discussing about the pyrogen test for the parental preparation. First of all, we are going to discuss about the pyrogen itself and what sort of properties they possess. So pyrogen basically means producing fever. So in simple terms, we can say that these are the agents are the chemicals which cause fever, pyrexia, or we can say rise in the body temperature of the humans or especially in the animals. So these are the fever producing agents in the agents are the chemical that cause fever. So they can be endogenous or they can be exogenous, usually in the bacteria. So mainly the source of these pyrogens are the microorganism, and among microorganism the most important origin is the bacteria, and chemically they are lipopolysaccharide in nature. So they have a lipid and a saccharide portion in them. So among the most important origin that are the bacteria. So among those bacteria, gram-negative bacteria produce most potent pyrogens, means they have more capability to cause fever and they have more capability to cause little bit severe fever or high rise in the body temperature of human or animals. So as discussed earlier, they are chemically basically lipopolysaccharides, but they do possess a charge, that is the negative charge. It means chemically they are anionic in nature as well. Along with the lipid and polysaccharide section, they also have a negative charge upon them. So as they are lipopolysaccharides in the nature, so basically they are soluble in the organic solvents are in their mixture. So they are basically they are soluble in organic solvents are any of the mixture of these organic solvents, not in the water. So basically they are filterable. So means they can be filtered from the product or from the raw materials in the case of their presence, and as well as they are thermostable. So they are basically for their removal the product can be heated at 250 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes, means the normal heating or autoclaving or oven temperature is not sufficient to remove pyrogens because they are thermostable in nature. So more important, if the product is heat stable, it can be heated up to 250 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. uh, Otherwise they can be filtered. So as they are filterable in nature, so they can be removed by the procedure of filtration if the product is thermolabile in nature, because even normal temperature for the sterilization are not sufficient to remove pyrogen from the preparation. So even in the autoclaving, if any product or any apparatus or anything is being um, autoclave for removal of the pyrogens specifically, then there's a need of alkali or any sort of oxidizing agent is there. So in the presence of any alkali or any oxidizing agent, and the normal sterilization temperature, that is the 121 degree centigrade for 15 minutes, you can also remove pyrogens from your preparation or your material. So another method that is being employed for the removal of the pyrogens is the ion exchange chromatography, because they have negative charge on them, so they can be removed through this procedure uh, that that have the both anode and the cathodes, and they are going to attract the respective charges. So uh, one of the efficient method for removal of pyrogen is also ion exchange chromatography, which is also preferred for the deionized water or preparation of the deionized water in for the parenteral preparation or for the even pharmaceutical preparation. So this method is preferred for preparation of DI water, which also helps to remove pyrogen from your preparation. Sources of the pyrogen. The possible things through which they had an entry into the preparation include the solvent, the most important source, the solvent. If your solvent is not properly treated or properly uh, filtered, or that is being removed through the ion exchange uh, chromatography or any suitable procedure, are heated up to 250 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes, solvent become one of the most important source of pyrogen into the preparation, especially when this solvent applied is the water. So water is one of the most important source of the pyrogen. If it is not clarified, it is not treated properly to remove out all the bacteria as well as their these toxins that are being produced by these bacteria or the other microorganisms. Second source, medicament itself can be one of the source of the pyrogens, if it is not keep stored or handled in proper manner. If the there is possible entry of the any sort of microorganism that produces the pyrogens, medicament itself can become a source of important source of pyrogen in the final preparation. Second, whatever the appliances that are being applied for the preparation, handling, transferring of the medicament or the excipients into the preparation or into the containers and their pipelines, their sources, their filling machines. All these things can become one of the source of the pyrogen if they are also not treated properly, they are not clearly sterilized properly and depyrogenated properly. Still, these apoptosis are also one of the important source of pyrogen in the parenteral preparations. Method of storage between preparation and the sterilization. Obviously, the area, the containers, the things that are applied for the storage of the large batch products, uh, they can also, if they are not being stored properly till preparation and the sterilization, they all these things, the medicament, the things, the appliances or any vehicle that is being applied, they become source of a big source of pyrogen into the preparation of the uh, parenteral products. So the methods that are applied for the testing of the pyrogens in the parenteral preparations, uh, we have two methods: in vivo method and an in vitro method. Means the method involve living organism as well as a method that involve non-living or any test material, non-living test material for the analysis of pyrogens in the parenteral preparations. So the in vivo method, the method that involve a living organism, for this pyrogen test, we are applying the living organism is a rabbit. That's why it's also called as a rabbit test. Okay, so actually this test was developed in 1920 for detection of the pyrogens into the parental preparation. This in vivo method or rabbit test method, the first method, and the test was introduced into the USP in 1942. Means the test was developed in 1920, whereas it was incorporated into the standard pharmacopoeia of United States Pharmacopoeia in 1942 and become a standard test for the pyrogen. So it says the test consists of measuring the rise in body temperature in healthy rabbits by the IV injection of a sterile solution of test sample. So this is the principle. Okay, we are checking the rise in the body temperature in healthy rabbits by injecting the sterile solution of the test sample. So by if there is rise in temperature, it means your solution is having the pyrogens, and if it is showing no any rise in the body temperature of these sample organisms, you can conclude that your sample is pyrogen free. So this is the way by which we are checking the pyrogen in the rabbits. So the test conditions that are applied for performing the rabbit test for the pyrogen include, so they say okay, rabbits must be healthy and mature. So first of all, whatever the rabbits you are selecting for this test must be healthy and mature. Second, they can be of either sex, means only single sex is used. Whether if you are using female, all the organism selected should be female, and whatever the male are selected, then they may have the all the rabbits must be of same gender, so that there shouldn't be any confusion with regard to the response towards the test. So they whatever the rabbits are selected for this test, they must be individually housed between 20 and 23 degrees centigrade. Means that their environmental temperature or the cage in which they are kept, they must be kept individually, and the temperature should be maintained between 20 and 23 degree centigrade. It should not exceed that one, because which may also create uh, confuse or improper results. So basically the selection of animals, it says healthy adult and not less than 1.5 kg. So all those rabbits that are selected, they are healthy, they are mature, adult, and they are weighing not less than 1.5 kg. So they can be above 1.5 kg but not less than 1.5 kg for performing this test. So equipments and the materials used in the test may include glassware, syringes and the needles. All the materials and the glassware that are to be used must be pyrogen free and by heating at 250 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. Means that whatever the material you are using must be pyrogen free so that they may not create a falsified or confused result or a wrong interpretation that your preparation is having the pyrogens. Basically, all the materials and the things, glassware, syringes, needles, they are used, they must be pyrogen free and to make it sure they are heated at 250 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes before they are being employed for that test. So whatever the boxes that in which rabbits are retained, they must be comfortable. All the rabbits must have comfortable temperature, comfortable boxes, and the comfortable environment overall, so that any shock or any trauma that may cause rise in temperature, which may provide you a falsified or a wrong interpretation of result. Therefore, they must be kept very comfortable in their boxes. So the thermometer that are being applied, so they are basically standardized position in rectum with a precision of zero point 0.1 degree centigrade. So basically in the animals we are going to check the temperature through the rectum. So these thermometer are being positioned into the rectum of the all these test rabbits, and these thermometers have the uh, precision of detecting each rise of zero point 0.1 degree centigrade, which they are very precise, they are very accurate in detecting a rise of zero point 0.1 degree centigrade in those test rabbits. So such type of the thermometer are being used for the detection of the pyrogen into the preparation by using a rabbit method. Before moving to the main rabbit test for the pyrogen, a preliminary test is performed which is called sham test. So it is performed before performing the main procedure for the pyrogen. So basically it is performed by IV injection of 10 ml per kg of body weight of rabbits. Obviously, of sterile pyrogen free saline solution to exclude any animal showing an unusual response to the trauma or shock of injection. So basically here we are checking, we are deceiving the rabbits by giving them 10 ml per kg of body weight of sterile confirmed pyrogen free saline solution to check their response. So if the rabbit is not having the enough stamina to bear the injection trauma or shock, and only because of the that injection or they are showing a rise in the temperature, so they are removed from the main taste. So basically this is also one of the selection criteria for those rabbits that are to be selected for the main taste. So any rabbit that don't have the stamina to handle to face the even the normal pyrogen free injection, then that may provide you a false rise in the body temperature in the absence of pyrogens. Therefore, says any animal is not used in the main test showing temperature variation greater than 0. 0.6 degrees centigrade. So basically this zero point 0.6 is very important parameter that is being applied for this test. Means ke if only injection trauma is causing the individual rise in the temperature of the rabbit up to zero point 0.6 degrees centigrade, then those rabbits are excluded from the test because the confirmed sample is being applied which is pyrogen free, so that shouldn't cause any rise in the body temperature of up to zero point 0.6 degrees centigrade. So if still any rabbit is showing any rise that is up to or more than zero point 0.6 degrees centigrade, they are excluded from a main test. So that's why we call it sham test or preliminary test. Basically, we are selecting the strong rabbits for the main test, and we are basically deceiving them with the specially pyrogen free solution, so that we can analyze that they can handle bear the injection trauma or not. Main test procedure for the rabbit test. So first step is selection of rabbits. So at least three rabbits are used initially for this test, which are selected after passing the preliminary or sham test. So second is to determine the control temperature of each rabbit 40 minutes prior to the test. Means those three rabbits which are selected, we have to check, we have to determine their control temperature, means their original temperature of at least 40 minutes prior to the test, which serve as a comparative parameter for result after sample injection. So in checking this control temperature, those rabbits that show a temperature less than 39.8 degrees centigrade are selected. So usually the rabbit temperature is ranges 38.6 to 40.1 degrees centigrade. So in for this test usually lower temperature range is selected, that is less than 39.8 degree centigrade. After determination of the control temperature of each rabbit, next step is preparation and injection of the product. So if your product is already available in the form of solution, you can directly inject it, but if it is available in the form of powder, you have to dissolve it, make it into the solution before injection. So after preparation, the sample that is being injected in a slow manner, but that duration of injection is not more than 4 minutes. So you have to take care that your product is being injected into the rabbit in a duration that does not exceed 4 minutes. So the volume that is being injected is usually not less than zero point 0.5 and not more than 10 ml per kg of body mass or body weight of the selected rabbit. So you are going to inject a volume that is in between zero point 0.5 to 10 ml per kg of the body weight of the selected rabbit. This is the sample volume that is being injected for the pyrogen test. After injection, you have to record the temperature of each rabbit at 1, 2, and 3 hours subsequent to the injection. Means after giving the injection, you have to check 3 times with an interval of an hour. Okay, and after each hour, you are going to check the temperature of the each rabbit and you have to record those results. Result interpretation for the pyrogen test. So after recording the temperature at 1, 2 and 3 hours subsequent to the injection and comparing with the control temperature of each rabbit, it says if no rabbit shows an individual rise of 0.6 degrees centigrade or more above control temperature, or sum of three individual rise in temperature does not exceed 1.4 degrees centigrade, test pass or your product is approved. Means ke by comparing the two readings, one before injection and three uh, readings after injection, upon their comparison, if the rabbits shows, if no any rabbit shows an individual rise of 0.6 degrees centigrade or more above their control temperature, or sum of these three individual rises does not exceed 1.4, means you have to add the difference, zero point 0.6, zero point 0.5, zero point 0.4. If that sum does not exceed 1.4 degrees centigrade, your test is passed, your product will be approved, that your product is pyrogen free if these type of the results are obtained. Similarly, if any rabbit shows an individual rise of 0.6 degree centigrade, or the sum is more than 1.4 degree centigrade, you have to repeat the test. So if the desired results are not obtained, as if sum exceed 1.4 degree centigrade, you have to repeat the test by using five other rabbits. So you have to select other five rabbits onto which you are going to repeat the same procedure. So again, there's a parameter that not more than 3 out of 8 rabbits shows an individual rise in temperature of zero point 0.6 or more, or sum of individual temperature rises does not exceed 3.7 degrees centigrade, test pass. So again, the how you are going to clear your product, that or approve your product, that among those 8 rabbits, not more than 3 are showing an individual rise of zero point 0.6 or little bit more, and sum of their individual temperature rises does not exceed 3.7 degrees centigrade, then your product is passed, you can approve it. If again these results are not obtained, you are going to reject your sample. So this is one of the image showing you how the rabbit test is being performed in the industry. They are using specific thermometers or the probes that are being inserted directly, and they are kept into the intact position by using certain type of neck stocks. But that must be light fitting and that must be comfortable so that they may not panic or they may create any sort of falsified results. So the second method we have is the in vitro test, which is also termed as LAL test for pyrogen determination. LAL is also termed as, or in the full form it is termed as Limulus amebocyte lysate, which is a biochemical test for pyrogen determination. So lysate is basically an enzyme which is obtained from horseshoe crab, which is named as Limulus polyphemus or Tachypleus tridentatus by heart puncture. And by this way, we are preparing a reagent that is used in this test, which is called as LAL reagent. So basically, the blood is obtained from the horseshoe crab by the heart puncture, and from that one, the enzyme is being isolated, and that enzyme is prepared as a reagent and termed as LAL reagent for pyrogen determination. So this slide is showing you one of the image of horseshoe crab from which we are going to obtain lysate enzyme for the preparation of LAL reagent by heart puncture. It is named as horseshoe because it has the shell that is have resemblance with the horseshoe. So this second image is showing you the horseshoe, and we can see there is a resemblance in both of them, thereby this creature named as horseshoe crab. Mechanism to which this method is based is a primitive blood clotting mechanism of the horseshoe crab enzymes. As a consequence, a coagulation produce proteinous gel. So when these enzymes that are obtained from the horseshoe crab or LAL reagent come into contact with the pyrogens in the preparation become coagulated and form a proteinous opaque gel. So the formation of gel is the result that is showing the presence of pyrogen in any preparation. So basically, we are our test result is based on the presence of or absence of gel in the test preparation that is being analyzed. So while addition of the lysate will produce turbidity or precipitation or gel formation of the mixture, if the pyrogens are available, whatever the rate of reaction will be there, that depend upon the concentration of the endotoxins or pyrogen. Means ke, as the turbidity will be more or the precipitation or gel is more opaque, it means it will be showing you highest concentration of the endotoxins. If the turbidity is less or gel is produced that have less opacity, it means the concentration of endotoxin or pyrogen is comparatively less in your sample. So procedure for the LAL test include equal volumes of LAL reagent and test solutions, usually 0.1 ml of each, are mixed in a depyrogenated test tube. Means for this test you have to take equal volume of both the reagent and the test solution, that is zero point 0.1 ml of. So you have to take zero point 0.1 ml of the LAL reagent and the zero point 0.1 ml of the test solution, and you are going to mix it in a depyrogenated test tube, means pyrogen free test tube. So after this mixing, you have to incubate your sample or the mixture at the temperature of 37 degrees centigrade for an hour. And after 1 hour, you have to remove the tube and invert in one smooth motion, that is up to 180 degrees. So after this incubation time, you have to bring out your test tubes holding the sample with the reagent, and you have to invert it in one smooth motion, so that the if the gel is there, that should not be disturbed. So in one smooth motion you have to invert it and then observe the result, which may be pass or fail. So this slide is showing you how you are going to interpret the result for the LAL test or in vitro test, that you are going to invert the uh, tube that is holding the sample with the reagent, and you have to invert it in a single motion up to 180-degree, and then check for the presence or absence of the gel formation. So if there is formation of the gel, the product will remain stuck into the bottom of the tube and it won't move upon inverting the tube. So this shows you a positive result, means your sample is having pyrogens available. Whereas if you are inverting the test tube and product does not remain stuck to the bottom and it flows down towards the face neck of the tube, it shows you a negative result, mean no gel formation. It means there is no any presence of pyrogen available in your sample. So if the pyrogens are available, you have to confirm it, and if it is not available, if you are going to approve your product for this pyrogen test. Interpretation of the results for the LAL test. So it says gel formation means test fails, means pyrogens are available, and that is that your sample is not approved for further processing. If no gel formation is there, test pass, means your product is free from the pyrogens. So the absence of a bacterial endotoxins in the product implies the absence of pyrogenic component. So means uh, if there's no any gel formation, it means there's no any endotoxin or the pyrogenic component are available in your sample and that are safe, and that will not produce any pyrexia if given to the patient. So there are various advantages of LAL test over the in vivo or rabbit test. First one, it's fast, as it take 1 hour or 60 minutes as compared to 3 hours or 180 minutes in case of in vivo or rabbit test. Second, it has greater sensitivity, so it can easily detect a very small amount of the pyrogen in your preparation. So basically, it is 10 times more sensitive as compared to the rabbit test. Variations are also less as there's no any animal or biology is involved over there. We are checking biochemical reaction over there in a test tube. That's why the results available are very consistent one. Okay, they are constant, similar type. Variations are very less as compared to the rabbit test. As rabbit tests may provide many false positive results due to injection trauma or any sort of environmental trauma may cause increase in the temperature of the rabbits, so they may provide you a false positive result. So this chance is less with the LAL test के much less false positive results are there, means के more exact results are obtained as compared to the rabbit test. Therefore, it is also much less expensive because all the expenses involved in the maintenance of the rabbits and the other things are not included in this test, so it is less expensive as compared to the in vivo test. So this is one of the best alternative to the animal model or in vivo test. So it is more preferred and best alternative to that animal model or in vivo or rabbit test. And again, it is more cheap, more accurate than the other tests, that is the in vivo or rabbit test for the pyrogens. So, moreover, along with these advantages, it is particularly useful for radiopharmaceuticals. Cytotoxic agents are the products with marked pharmacological or toxicological activity in the rabbit. So, these type of the pharmaceuticals that may cause false positive results in the rabbit. So, it's more useful for such type of the preparation. This LAL test will be more preferred or more beneficial for the pyrogen test. So for water for injection, this test LAL test is more potentially stringent and readily applied. So it's stringent means it's exact and it's easily and readily can be applied. So for the water for injection, which is prepared in the bulk amount in the industries for various preparations, so in that case it is more exact and more easy to perform as compared to the in vivo test. Limit of detection of this LAL test. So it says K point zero 0.01 endotoxin units per ml can be detected by this test. So what is endotoxin unit? So it says one endotoxin unit is equal to zero point 0.1 to zero point 2 nanogram endotoxin per ml, or in other words lipopolysaccharide per ml of the preparation. So you can see one endotoxin is equal to zero point 0.1 to zero point 2 nanogram per ml, and the LAL test is going to determine the concentration up to zero point zero 0.01 endotoxin units per ml. So this shows you the high sensitivity and the accuracy of the method by which it is going to provide you the result for the pyrogen test. So allowed limit for parental preparation is zero point 0.5 to 5 endotoxin units per ml. Means if your preparation is showing you zero point 0.5 to 5 endotoxin units per ml, it will pass the test. So basically, human develop symptoms of pyrexia or fever at the concentration of 5 endotoxin units per kg of body weight. So means when the pyrogen concentration is up to 5 endotoxin units per kg of the body weight, that can cause pyrexia or fever in the human, whereas the limit you can see it is between zero point 0.5 to 5 endotoxin units per ml. That is much less than this concentration, because it is impossible to remove all the pyrogen material from the preparation. So there is some sort of allowed limit depending upon the concentration that can be tolerated by the human body. So this is the allowed limit permitted for the parenteral preparation. These are the references for today's discussion or lecture. Thank you.